فلسطين ستطالب أهل فلسطين بأن يعودوا كما عاد صلى الله عليه وسلم هناك فاتحا.
حيثما ثقفتموهم فاقتلوهم، أينما تكونون فاقتلوا أولئك اليهود.
יאמר האויב כשהוא יראה בטלוויזיה בתי כנסת נחרבים ועליהם רצים עם דגלים של חמאס, ירוקים ושל אש"ף אדום ושחור.
אנשים איבדו פה את היקרים להם ולא קמו והלכו.
המדינה לקח לי את הבן, עכשיו רוצים לקחת את הקבר שלי. בן שלי יוחנן נהרג בלבנון באסון השייטת, ועכשיו רוצים להוציא הקבר שלו ולהעביר אותו למקום אחר. לא נתפס שמדינה עושה את זה לחייליה, לאזרחיה. כמה אפשר לתת? כמה אפשר לקחת?
My guest is Scott Jacobs, and he is a media advocate and a disciple of Rabbi Benny Elan, talking about the greater jihad, if you will. And Benny produced a documentary called "Stab in the Heart" that you're directing, distributing throughout the United States. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, it shows the political risks. In other words, what happens when Israel withdraws troops and sets a precedent. It shows the ramifications of a withdrawal to a jihad enemy. How it not only emboldens the enemy, but makes the land of Israel itself and its population centers highly volatile and subject to rockets and terror from a very narrow waistline. And the notion is that those who follow a biblical imperative have got to keep the Holy Land as God's land intact under the current Israeli rule.
Yeah,
it's critical because.
Let me ask you a question, because before the break you alluded to the fact that you thought, Israel itself is in a lot of trouble. You felt like the chosen people, the promised land, is in trouble because Iran is arming and all these things. Let me ask you a question, because I'm not worried about that. The United States of America is 73% Judeo-Christian. It is. What do you think we do if Iran goes crazy, or anybody for that matter goes crazy and tries to nuke Israel? Do you think we just say, "Oh, gee, poor people," and sit by, or do you think we engage? I have to tell you, I think we engage.
Well, naturally, and of course, it becomes very touchy. The greater America relies on Iran and Saudi Arabia as providers of our primary fuels.
Yeah. Again, I say to you, if the issue in terms of the conflagration in the Middle East was oil, why wouldn't we have resolved that a long time ago? Especially with this opportunity. We're in Iraq. The oil fields are right there. We're there. Why don't we just take them?
That's a good idea.
Yeah, but we didn't. So my point to you is if we were worried about offending the Saudi Arabians or offending the Iranians because we've got this need for oil, we can solve that in 2 seconds. Go in, take it.
We could, accept that the Saudi influence in Washington is very strong.
That doesn't change if somebody bombs Tel Aviv. I think it does. I think it clearly does.
Well, this is where the conflict between those who claim moral values,
right,
claim to be based on faith and values, and those who are influenced by either economics or finance or their own pocketbooks. This is where America comes into the...
Scrape it right down to the base common denominator. Let's suppose that it is an economic imperative. Forget the morals. Forget the principles in the matter of faith. Forget all of that. It's money.
Well, it's true.
They bomb Tel Aviv. We go in and take it because now we got all the money.
Oh, that'd be a justification.
It would seem to me, which would fall in line with the faith-based reason.
Not that we need that justification, by the way.
Of course not. But I just think that the argument that the reason we wouldn't defend Israel is because we're afraid of offending, the Saudis and the Iranians is specious. I think not only would we, we'd willingly go in there and say, let's get rid of these guys. They've been a burr in our saddle forever.
Right. That's
and
true.
I wonder if that wouldn't fulfill the biblical mandate as well.
Well, it would be in the United States' interest certainly to control the Iranian oil and with the U.S. presence in Iraq, that's an important. It's a strategic option.
Right.
Wouldn't take a
so what does that
Armageddon
do? What does that do to the theory, though? I mean, that's what I'm trying to point out is if you're worried about the geopolitical situation around the world in times of the global jihad that's going on, I fully subscribe to that. I absolutely believe that the Muslims are trying to take over the world. I also think that they believe it's for them a holy type deal. By the same token, I think they're horribly mistaken in their reading of their scriptures in terms of who God favors here. Okay? So, assuming all of that, why should we worry about this? That's what I'm trying to get to. If indeed you get to the end of the point where you gotta do something, they're banging up against each other. We are the only remaining true superpower, the United States of America, with a Judeo-Christian bent.
Right.
Why would we be worried about this? And I'm much more worried about the subtle stuff that's going on. The riots in Paris, the fact that they basically took over Turkey with not anybody knowing it.
Right. One problem is that our military is stretched right now. It isn't what it was, and it isn't necessarily what it needs to be to take on a ground war or another occupation in Iran.
Right.
Especially to the extent that there's this connection between Iran and Iraq now, and the Shias and Chalabi. So that's
going to be interesting. It is. There's not enough time. There never is. There never is. It goes fast, doesn't it? It's the fastest half hour on all television. My guest is Scott Jacobson. We've been talking about a fascinating subject. Just enough time. How do people get your DVD?
They can come to our website, www.democast.org.
DemoCast, not Democrat. DemoCast.org and order it that way.
And they can order it. They could watch it online.
Yeah.
And they can watch many more videos about the
go to democast.org and you can download it online.